One note says that last week we shipped 1.7. Worked very well. And we talked about community manager. We are creating a new position. Anyone can take it. 9/12/2023. Do we have demos? Nobody wants to do a demo. The pics, we'll have some here. 1.8. Oh, we might need to do some things still for 1.7, but we can do it in triage on Thursday. On Thursday, I will check my meetings for Thursday. I'm not sure. Oh, we didn't do triage on Thursday. I took to mail because we had a television meeting. So, status. Orchard 1. Improve Orchard. We already saw that. It was the of September. Yep, so we saw that. Orchard core. Starting here. So we did the release last week during the meeting. That's why the switch was done during the meeting. Then merged email, position the modal over the navbar. We talked about it. Let's take no risk and fix it after. So this is fixing the z index of the modal windows over the top navbar. Mike updated the 1.8 release notes. That's it. Oh, for 1.8, I'm like, didn't have no for 1.8. Okay, it's preparing the next release. Sure. jQuery updated, new contributor. New contributor. SMS. Typo. Okay. libphonenumber-csharp updated. NLog updated. Leaflet updated. This is the editor for the locations, right? Module friendly iterative maps. This is invalid cookie name. That is bad to have an invalid cookie name. What's the issue here? It's always worrying when I see something added like your HPV utility URL code. Okay, that's just navigation. That's just fixing a navigation bug. It's not a security issue. Just a cookie to select which cookie, which menu must be open, I should closed. Okay. So encoding the cookie name because the menu or the name of the tenant might have chars that are not correctly, that are not compatible with URLs. Okay. Like the dash, maybe. Who knows? Contributor. Move mock into test libraries. Okay, moving that here. Microsoft.Identity.Web 2.34 update. BenchmarkDotNet update. NKDocs updates. Remove duplicate alerting settings. Trust to sham. Make WorkflowType extension able. Ooh. What does it mean? 14 to 75. So what does it mean to inherit from an entity? You can have custom properties. Does it mean anything else? Like it's versionable, it's localizable. Implement display name of the workflow instance. This is workflow type, so this is not a workflow instance. Yeah, the wall feature here seems weird because I feel like they don't understand the difference between the type and the instance, because there is no way you can give a name to an instance. It's something that is started after an action. So where do we pick the name?
I think what he's doing is defining a pattern in the type, so he can use that to generate the instance.
Okay, so in a property. Okay, I see. So in a property of the type, you could define the pattern for the instances. Okay, makes sense. Why make it an entity? That's weird. Then why not add the property to the type? That could be a feature. Like, how do you want to name your instances for each of the instances of this type? That would be an option. Okay, entity. Now, so that makes sense. Thank you. Oh, that's what this did. Okay, workflow name. There is ID. Yeah, that's very interesting. That makes total sense now. The default value could be the ID, this ID.
Yeah, I suggested that if he's doing that work, to put a PR by default to display the ID, but then if someone wants to change it with liquid, they can.
But why make it an entity then? That's weird. That scares me because that implies more things that we should not try to even support, like versioning and other things.
Well, entity just allows you to add to the properties, like any object you want. So it just provides you one property, new property called properties.
So what does provide the versioning? And
that's content item. Entity just allow you to say, I want to attach, some sort of type. So it only exposed one property there.
So I find an issue about that, how to split all these concerns. So a long time ago, but I might have described what you can do with entity and what should be national entities. Show me that. Oh, okay. Maybe I didn't create the issue, but I explained the differences. Okay. We have gone over an application version horizontal concept with code levels. For instance, for the content item is an entity, is versionable, is opposable. Because there is the fact that it has a base class, but maybe we say that if a class inherits from it, then we can do things with it. It's not just about the properties. That's my concern. Let's see. Okay, it's just properties here. See that now there is parts now that you can attach. Yeah, I don't think it needs to be an entity here. This is too much for what needs to be done here. Otherwise, everything is a dictionary. Because here the goal is to be able to add dynamic data to it with parts, with like composing stuff. And in this case, we don't want to add composition to WorkflowType. That might be good, but then we need to add drivers and everything to it. And we don't need this extensibility for WorkflowTypes. At least for a feature that makes sense as a whole. Like, it doesn't need to be an option. It could be for everything. So I would actually suggest to just add the property. Good, makes sense. You can disagree. It's fine. This one. Let's 6 and 7. What is that update? Because today apparently there is a new version of .NET RC1. Oh no, it's not nothing to do with that. There is a new .NET 8 version, but apparently there are also new .NET 6 and .NET 7. Okay. Good. Update OpenIddict. I'm not sure if it's related to the update that you did earlier. With identity, whatever. Or this one references a new version of identity model. There was a breaking change in the version of identity model that was, or missing a feature that Kevin did. So probably this one is fixing everything. And update Jint to the latest version. By the way, is it still a beta version? Because I know SmtpSettings.Edit got updated. Yeah, that's the latest version. But Marco NLog released a new version of Esprima, which is now released more RC or beta or whatever after how many years? So many years. Beta, oh, the third version at least 1 year. But this is the same thing as this one. So it's been annoying. Wait, beautiful. Questions? That's all that happened last week. Okay. This one. So I wanted to check my stories. .x closed. So just while we are 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. So do you agree that all the things that were tagged 1.x and which are closed should go to 1.7? I'm not doing anything wrong, right? But you see, Mike, you did it again.
Sorry, say that again.
You did it again. You changed the
it?
labels and the issues. You closed 1.7, right?
Yeah, but I thought we do that after we
Yes,
ship
yes.
1.7.
Yes. So where are the milestones? I need to reopen it because we need to close. We need to tag. That's why we need it still. Because what we do is all the 1.x that are closed now that we shipped, we need to assign them to 1.7 to say that this one was fixed in 1.7. Okay, makes sense? And to do that,
makes sense.
And to do that, we need to be able to select 1.7 here. So because it was not open, we can't select it. That's just it. After that, we are done and we can close it. But that's the last thing. That's why you added it again last time, because we needed to do that and we didn't do it. We didn't ship. So here I say 1.7. Take a few seconds. One more page after that, my stream 1.7. And now this can be closed. Awesome. That's what I want to do. Issues. So anything anyone wants to look at, talk about?
There is a PR. I think I pinged you this morning. Was it one? Yeah, I think it's a PR. Just to see, because I think it's the yeah, right there. Use language keyword instead of framework, because that's something you mentioned in previous. And I just don't know if it's something we want to take on. If it is, I don't want to keep it open because there's a lot of changes. I don't want to cause more conflict.
And every time someone merges something, it breaks your PR.
Right, and that's why I mean it's a minor change because we're just changing how we use the keywords, but I don't know if it's a direction we want to take on, and if it is, then maybe we should just merge it after review or whatever. But
yeah, so why I started talking about it was I was seeing people in their PR changing the upper string, uppercase string to lowercase string. Sorry, the lowercase string to uppercase string. And first it's noise, and second it's against the recommendation. So I was like, Why do we do that? It's because we have a rule that says predefined type for manual access false, which means you use the don't prefer the lowercase one. And this is not the new recommendation. So by updating this recommendation to be the one more recommended in the C# environment ecosystem, then you also say, let's create a PR that makes everything correct once and for all.
And also changes the default too. So that's, changes the editor preference, which is, I think, the key here.
My concern is that I'm okay with that. We can change that. It's not a break and change at all. And it's just breaking PRs, which will have to be updated if they touch some things with things like that. But it's an easy change. It's not a huge merge to diff to deal with. My concern is that nobody said anything like disagreed or agreed or whatever. So I don't like when someone takes a decision and says this is the way it is, if it can be discussed. Like if there is a bug to fix, let's fix the bug. I mean, it's obvious, but this one, like, does someone have something else to say? It's been open for a week. Yeah, should we create an issue for that? We pinged Jint, but
yeah, I did. I pinged him today. I just wanted to see his input. Yeah, because I wanted to see if that's because like there is a preference, right? And I just want to make sure. But I think if you go up, there's that link that I put. There's valid reasons why we should. And so.
Then my explanation for that was the fact that string is a keyword. It's not any string class. That was my reason. And I think there was other. Was there other reasons?
No, I mean, other than you can override it, that's really the main reason.
No.
Performance-wise, it's the same. Well, yeah, there is a counter argument. If you use string, you can easily convert from C# to VB.NET. I don't think we care here.
Who cares at all? Like,
yeah, that is just a counter argument, but like for us, we don't really care. And if Microsoft uses lowercase, maybe we should just stick with whatever Microsoft use. But again, it's a preference. I just, I think we just need to make a decision just because there's so many file changes, whether we take it or not,
Another argument is that you don't need system to be imported. So there's less using or missing using, or you can remove using also, because string is there all the time.
Correct.
I'm pretty sure we have lots of files with just using system because of string.
Yep.
Another argument would be, why not use int32 instead of int everywhere? Because why not? Yeah, so yeah, I believe it's better. I like to have one more voice. Antoine, what do you think? You like it? You prefer small string or big string? Or you don't care?
Antoine is too busy converting to Bootstrap 3 right now, 5.3.
I thought you were using Bun to. Oh no, someone is removing gulp for ES whatever ES build, and then we will use another one. Yeah.
Someone said they want to create a demo. I personally, if I want to replace gulp, which I think we should probably use Webpack, but that's a different, it's an argument for a different day.
Didn't someone say they're using ES build?
Something like that, yeah. But I was hoping for a demo, but we haven't got a demo yet.
Oh, yeah, yes. I'm not thinking that the issue ES build. Yeah.
Yeah, I never use ES build, so I don't know if there's advantage or disadvantage. I know Webpack. What was that?
This person says they love JavaScript, so I mean they know what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, Webpack is powerful as well. It's definitely more powerful than Gulp. I just don't know if I would go with
ES build is faster than Webpack. Let's look at that.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, sure. Once we see a demo, then maybe we'll go that route.
It's 50 to 100 times faster than parcel and Notepad.
Yeah, well, hopefully a demo will show us, you know, something new, and hopefully we can change it. But definitely we should do something, because like right now working on Bootstrap conversion 5.3, I noticed we're using Webpack in at least one place in our project, and then we're using Gulp in almost everything. But Gulp is not the best, and it's very slow.
And it's not maintained anymore, no features. So
Yeah.
if there are things better and faster, I don't care.
Agreed.
Soon, okay. Okay, so we triage that. No, backlog because there is no. Or you could put it 1x, like if anytime you want. Okay. Yeah, so this one, I don't know, I'd like someone to say it.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. But you know, maybe we should just comment there, just so we know, and we can move it either forward or just close it and move on.
What's his name?
John.
No, Zoltan.
Z. Try Z.
No, but
Nope.
he's
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
his alias? Gabor, what's Zoltan's alias? I'm too.
Piedone.
Okay.
P. Yeah.
I've been working with this alias for literally 10 years, and I forgot to. Oh my god.
Yeah, I forget that too sometimes.
Okay, good.
You know, there was a fix for 1.7. So one issue with 1.7, the settings, there's a duplicate error, not error, warning alert, that was fixed today.
Mhm.
Do we need to ship 1.7 for that, or
Nope.
nah? I mean, it's not a breaking functionality, but you'll
Nope.
see that warning on your screen 2 times.
Which one? Just one? They're not all the warnings, just one thing, right? It was.
There's pretty much all the settings that exist, like they already have all the settings that already have a warning. Now they have 2, and
Okay.
any setting that had no warning now has a warning.
We'll see if people complain.
Like if we were to ship 1.7 for that fix, do we just ship everything in main, or do we apply that fix on that new branch, the 1.7?
Oh no, yeah, we would do a new. No, well, today it will be fine because we almost match nothing. But no, it's better to just say 171 on the 1.7 branch, and then merge the 1.7.1 branch to main to get the fix also in main, and that's it. But yeah, we will ship 1.7.1, so we will tag 1.7.1 on the 1.7 branch.
Okay, so whatever we have done in main won't make it to the 1.7. So it'll be just one. Yeah, got it. Okay.
Why? Because you want.
No, I just want to see
the
how
feature?
it works. No, and I don't think we should, because maybe we have a breaking change already.
Like the modal, yeah, and then again, and then we stop. Yeah, that's why we use spreadsheets instead. Okay. Yeah, this one an issue I find last week until I did that. It's really nitpicky. Like it won't change anything for anyone. It was just more about to understand what we are doing. Like someone said they were seeing this string many times in their tracing, in their memory dumps, and I'm like, what is that? I was wondering. Now I don't believe it was an issue, but I understood what this string was. So this string, my query is this string from. So I did a grep app, and I looked for that, and you see it's in Razor. So this string is actually in a source code generated view here. So every view, when it's generating a C# code, will have this assembly attribute with this string view. It's just like the version of the MVC view that it's using. It's used nowhere, like even if you put null, it works, but there is this string somewhere. And what's happening is that every time you have an instance of this attribute, you have a new instance of this string. So it's taking like 20 bytes, 10 times 2, for storing that thing for every view instance.
But doesn't it automatically take that and create and save it in the memory, because there's no string concatenation or anything like that?
Yes,
I mean,
if you have 10 instances of this class, yes, it's the same thing. If you have 10 classes with 10 attributes, you have 10 instances. Because there is no interning in .NET Core. There is interning in .NET Framework, but not in .NET Core. Interning means that every same string will actually be the same instance. But that's a performance cost to do that. So in .NET Core, it's not doing that anymore. It's not interning the strings. It's not returning the same reference if the string matches. It's just returning a new instance. So if you have a string like this in your code, it's fine. But in this case, it's a different string for every view. Every view, fine.
Well, okay, I don't understand. So
Yeah,
just to make sure, in string, and I know what interning is, but my question here, is it because it's in the assembly, or is it?
No, it's because, so this file is fine. There will be, if I take this file, this string will exist once for the application, just once. It's perfect, one instance. Okay. If I instantiate 10 times this class, there will still be a single string for that. But
okay,
the issue is that if you have view 1, view 2, view 3, view 4, view 5.cs, you have 5 files with this string. So 5 classes, hence you will have 5 instances. Okay, and this is where interning then will appear. So yeah, so in our case, we generate for each view, well, in .NET, for in MVC, in Razor, for each view, there will be one view.g.cs, like a generated code file. For each Razor view, you will have a C# class that will be the actual Razor view. Okay? Because the Razor syntax is converted to C# using code generation. And then you will have these strings for each of them. And these are different instances. So you will have as many instances as you have views. View types.
So that's only in Razor, not in C#, or you're saying both?
Oh, that's C#. Like if I have, well, I didn't type Notepad, but
so for example, let's say I have a feature ID, right? And we define that feature ID. Well, we use that feature ID in 3 places, right?
Yeah.
So once for the attribute, for the feature attribute, and once for require attribute, and once for the manifest file. So as 3 instances of that feature ID. Does it? My understanding, it creates an instance of that string and reuses it everywhere. Is it that not the case?
Depends on what you did with feature ID. Let me see. This one here, feature constant.
Yeah, so that's a constant, but it's very rare that we use constant. If you go to any feature,
yeah. So in this case, it's a constant every time. Like here, this is the same one, right?
Yes.
The same constant.
Yeah, that's okay.
Constant. you will have 3 different instances.
Why would
Because
you have
it's a-
3 different instances?
Because
It's a
it's
constant.
a constant. It's a constant. It means here, replace that by the constant value. But you see a different instance, a different instance, a different instance. If I go there, if it's a constant, if you had said static read-only string feature ID, then it will be the same instance, because we are giving a reference to the string, not saying, oh, it's the constant. Maybe I'm wrong, but I believe that's how it is. So I need to be proven wrong, but I believe it's this.
But isn't static also passes by reference?
Because it's static, it's passed by reference. Because it's constant, it will create 3 instances. Let's see. Const string.
I mean, constant. I think constant is treated as static.
Okay, maybe
because it doesn't change.
Let's see. But yeah, but it's a different lifetime. So static, so string full1. But I'm sure I can't write static here. So public as stud. Okay. Okay. So you're right, but there is still a difference between. So you're right in this case. So here, foo1, foo2, foo2. So foo1 is a constant. So I was expecting it to be two different instances. So foo1, v2 and v1 are the same reference. That's the first truth here. Okay, first truth. So it says v1 and v2 are the same reference. So that's what you said. Constant are actually the same reference. I thought it was a different instance. Even though it was a constant, it's just to be able to not mess up with the value it is. So this is why we put a constant here. Okay, v3 and v4, which are two static, this is what I expected because it's so obvious, because we reference this instance, v2. So in this case, the compiler in this case will limit. So let's see. Can you see the? Yes, that's custom instance. Where are the strings? Do you see the strings here? V1, v2. It pushes string object, but it doesn't say it's the same instance. That's what is weird for me. Oh, look at that. That explains. Static literal string. So that's what you said, right? That the constant is actually static internally.
That's my understanding. Yes.
Okay.
I mean,
But
the fact that it's a constant, it never changes. So why would you create another instance of it? It should be passed by reference.
Yeah, that's what.
And when you pass a reference, you're not going to be able to update it, which is constant, right? So it's a read-only
Well, you can
static
never
variable kind of.
you can never update. I see. You can't update the reference itself, but yeah, okay, you can't update the reference itself, right? The same way you can say public static read-only. That won't change anything. That might change.
Yeah, like I think constant is the same as saying static read-only.
So if I go
Maybe
back,
it's not identical, but it should behave the same. Because a static variable is something you can't change, and because it's read-only, and constant, it's the same thing. So it should behave exactly the same.
there's something different here to the compiler here. For the str instead of float field. Interesting. Which is the value of a field, and this one just loads the string. But, okay. In this case, so going back to the PR. So in this case, you see here, let's open the file that I was showing and you said that it was the same thing. So this is fine, but here, this is not a constant. This is a string argument. Okay. So, well, every instance of this attribute will have a different string instance at that point. Or not. Now I'm doubting, like, I believe it would. At least we have different files. So if we have different files, there will be a different instance. So what I was suggesting is instead of generating that thing, we could generate not a string literal with the double quotes, but a reference to a static field, or in this case, because you proved it, a const, but a pointer to something such that all the instances will point to the same thing instead of having a different string every time. So that was where I wanted to go. And yeah. So that was the
my question. Okay, if you search our resource code, for example, the source code for the string orchardcore.email, okay, that's the name of a feature we have, but yeah, but you're gonna have to use the double quote so you can search for the strings, because that's a namespace too.
But if I look there, it will find it because it's better search time.
Yeah. Okay. So you see that? So it's repeated many times, right?
Yep.
That same string. I think in that case, there is string interning, and it takes that string and stores it once in the memory.
Well,
is that correct or no?
I don't think so, but I didn't think so for this one here, so I will just try.
Well, because if not, that's another issue we probably
can fix.
Yeah, but if that's an issue.
But that's interesting. So step 2, okay, and now let's say I do. So it's like a const, right? In this case, because it was a string somewhere, we could try that, but let's see. Step2.1. So I point to 2 consts here, which have the same value. Okay, foo1 from step2 and foo1 from step1. They have the same value. Now, do they have the same reference? foo1 and the 5. They do.
So V1 and V2, which is V1 from stuff1 and V2 from stuff2, is the same value, but they're in different. So they return the same reference, which makes sense. So that's what interning is, right? It's the same exact value. It keep reference of that string value in the memory internally. So anytime you use the same value, it retrieves it from memory. It does not create a new instance of it.
Even this one is true. Like, I'm so surprised. Like,
is it maybe because you're using constant?
No, here I'm using static read-only. Well, if I don't say read-only, maybe it's still true.
Yeah, because it's referencing that object from the memory. That's what I'm expecting anyway. But I just want to make sure.
And now if I do that, like if I do stuff1 dot foo2 and stuff2 dot foo2, because there's two static instances, still the same thing. And it's so crazy to me. Like this instance is the same as this one. This instance is the same as, or maybe an object.reference equals is not that, but like it's like if I do that now, object reference equals 1. It's true.
Yeah, I mean, so one thing you can do, type in a foo1 in the string, in the parameter, like you're passing string 1, and compare that to stuff1 or stuff2.
Something like that?
Yeah, well, capital, to make sure same string.
So foo1 like this.
Yeah.
And stuff1 dot something. Yeah,
yep.
that
compare that. Yeah.
That will, because all the other cases just show that, like even
different. Yeah, okay. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So it's doing exactly what I'm expecting.
Yep.
And I just want to make sure. Yeah. I mean, another thing you can do, compare foo2 to a new string called foo2. I mean, are they the same reference? It's a different string.
Yeah, but that's what I did. 1 is foo2. So this one for me is like super weird. Yeah, that shows everything you just said. But like, yeah, is this string the reference? For me, it was 2 different ones. No, it's not.
Yeah, because that's what string interning is. So it's not crazy, because that's part of the language.
So
right?
maybe what interning is when you have a new variable, like you compute a new string. If this string already exists, then it will give you the same reference. It won't recreate it. And maybe that's where I'm wrong. I thought interning was also for these constants or string literal. So, but it's
so it takes a string literal. It takes it, and if it's not in the heap memory, it creates a reference for it.
Okay, and that's
for that same literal. Yeah, that's what it's doing.
That's good. I like it.
Yeah, it's definitely good, because it's saving resources.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I don't know. It's interesting. What if you don't mind, do one more example where you say 1 plus 1. How about you concatenate? So concatenate 1 plus 2.
That I know.
That should create a new because you're using concatenation now.
No,
it should create a new reference.
No, because at compile time it does that at compile time, because it knows it's a constant, so it will do it at compile time. You see, true.
So it compile it, and then it creates.
What? We can talk about it from not longer than last week, because last week I told you to put something on a single line, but just for cosmetics. Remember, you had a big SQL query that you split in multiple lines with a plus.
Yes.
But I just asked you to make it on single line because I thought it was fine to be in single line. It was not adding more stuff. But I was like, yeah, you could keep the plus. But you had this example, a big SQL query like this with a plus at the new line. And I knew it was a single string in the end. I was not saying that for the perf or whatever. I was confused if you would think it was for perf, but I knew that this string here is just computed at compile time. The same way if you do something like that, I believe. Now I'm doubting, but like one, what can I do?
So it takes the value. That I don't know.
You know, when you say something like one
Pointed to variable.
Oh no, this one is evaluated.
It false because correct. That's that's what I was expecting. Well, because the compile doesn't know the value of the variable.
Oh yeah. Oh yes, you're right. Is that? Oh, let's try logging then.
Yeah, because the value could be coming from like a request or whatnot.
Okay.
So it can't.
Let's do that.
If it's smart enough, it would in this case because a constant.
True, it's a constant. You see. So yes.
Is it true? Yeah, that makes sense because it's a constant. But if you're defining a variable, just a local variable, maybe there's a variable manipulation down the line. So it doesn't know. Yeah. So it makes sense.
Yeah. What's interesting here is that it can also optimize this one, this interpreted string, and the concatenation. So that's good to know.
Correct. Yeah, it's very good to know. But yeah.
So we don't need to do anything, right?
Yeah. No, I mean that's exactly what I was expecting. But when you mentioned the, how it creates multiple instances, I was like, okay, maybe I'm missing something here.
So let me comment on that. You're useless, gently. Go back to work.
But so goes back to that problem that they reported originally. So why is he seeing multiple instances in the memory?
I don't know. Maybe they have I don't know. Maybe
that's what I mean. I'm wondering if Razor is doing a different. I don't know. Maybe Razor is doing something else, but it should be still reading from the memory because it's the same language at the end of the day.
User didn't have this issue, so I don't know. I can't explain. Now I don't know anything else. Anything more. I need to learn everything. But yeah, it's interesting. It's quite no. And if we take maybe an older compiler. Oh, you can't use a code like this. Like before, you have to have a program name, whatever. Well, that was fun. So this one is false, and this one is false when we compare the const, the static. The second one. Yeah, this one is interesting, right? Because everything is equal, but when we compare the v2 to v3, which is because this is one for one and for two. That's why. Oh, I'm stupid. Okay, but if we do
the different value, correct?
Yeah, different values. Yeah, so they can't be equal. So if we do one for one, then they will be equal.
Yeah, and I'm guessing even if you change the full one to lowercase full one, it will create a new instance of it. So it should be false too.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. But it's not something different.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Good to know. It's crazy, but yeah, we still should be constant when we can. Apparently, it's better.
Yeah, I mean, for maintenance, it's surely just for maintenance. I mean, if you're defining constant, you're making it easier. Like instead of defining feature ID as a string all over the place, it's a lot easier or better from maintenance perspective to create a constant variable so you can just reuse that. But the problem with that approach, where do you put that constant file? Because you can't put it in the local module. You got to put it in like either abstraction or core module so you can reuse it across multiple projects. I mean, that's what I do for my projects. I put a constant somewhere in the core, and then I reuse that just for maintenance. There's no performance. Yeah, so this is it. That's the issue I was saying for 1.7, but I don't know if we need it. It's already fixed.
Okay, that was interesting. Thank you, Mike, for this knowledge. You can come back anytime you want with these things. Compiler generated. You see? Wait, it's doing equal. Oh, on object. So it's like, don't use the string equality, use the object equality. Yeah, that's interesting to know that how it's done. It's good. I like it. It's pretty much. Okay, awesome. Done. Meeting on time. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Great lesson here.
Thank you.
So what do you teach us next week, Mike?
Well, I'm learning from you.
Let me check my meetings on Thursday. I have orchard meeting, so that's great. See you on Thursday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Bye, Mike.